On this month's episode of Speak Out and Play, I will talk about the latest entry of the Valiant Defense Series, what the Seek Out and Play channel is all about, what is happening in Warfighter Corner, and what is in the works for the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. All this and more on Speak Out and Play. Hello and welcome to the July 2024 episode of Speak Out and Play, a monthly podcast that discusses the goings-on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. Well, we have another typical July in Oklahoma where Mother Nature makes several serious attempts to kill us all. First, we get torched with near-record temperatures, and now we are in an unseasonably cool and rainy break, which generally means the calm before the storm. With our weather, the best advice if you live in the Sooner State is to keep your head on a swivel. However, since I'm safely inside, away from the heat, the storms, and the like, until the heat, the storms, and the like decide to do something about it, let's talk about the next Kickstarter release for DVG. The fifth in the Valiant Defense Series, Guadalcanal, is the first that is not designed by David Thompson. Instead, Vincent Cooper is the lead designer, and he's focused on the natural setting for this type of solitaire series, Guadalcanal. The battle covers a 3-day period in the defense of Henderson Field in which the fate of the island was decided. The game uses the same basic system, including the cards and events that are well known to fans of the Valiant Defense Series by DVG. I can't say that I got my hands on the game, but I can say that I put together a video that is currently playing on the DVG YouTube channel and will be part of the Kickstarter page. And while the artwork is not exactly final, it's probably pretty close in some areas, particularly the map, and that the final product may not be a whole lot different, but of course, what do I know? I mean, changes can be made, but the artwork does look really good. It does use the same artist and artistic style as Lanzarath Ridge, which is one of the more celebrated games in the series, but the game itself is based more on Pavlov's House. I can say that shooting the video represented a new step in terms of production for me. Not so much that I used new equipment, but I did use a new approach that layers additional shots into the video to help fill it out over time. And so what does that mean? Well, in other words, I started the video by shooting long master shots of each section, and then I went back in and shot shorter and shorter clips to create more movement. It helped to speed up the video while getting closer so you could see more details in it. And the result is probably the most shots I've put into a 3-minute video, and yet it's still, slow enough and big enough, and you see the details of the components of the game. So that's something I was kind of proud of and putting together. Now, the Guadalcanal Kickstarter is scheduled to begin July 30th. So, I'm looking forward to its success. And now a little discussion about what the Seek Out and Play channel is all about. It's been a rather interesting past few weeks at the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. In fact, what you're hearing right now is the third iteration of this section of the podcast, which has not only been changed twice after I recorded it, but also after I have scheduled it for Buzzsprout, Spotify, and the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. I don't want to get into what exactly has changed, at least not specifically, but I will address in general what the channel has been about since its beginning. It's no secret that DVG has been a big part of my YouTube channel. On the first day I posted videos back in April of 2019, Warfighter was among the mix. Since then, I have published innumerable videos about Warfighter and other DVG games. I've also had the privilege of creating Kickstarter videos for DVG since 2020. Now, DVG isn't the only company that I've made videos on, either about their games or for Kickstarters and game previews, but they are the most prominent. So it's natural that I have a bias toward DVG. Any creator who makes as many videos as I have for a company, or games for that company, or games by that company, would be considered biased as well. A reasonable person might conclude that I work for the company, or at least that I am heavily involved, if not outright biased, that I advocate for DVG. And the response that I must give to that assumption is twofold. You are right, and so what? The Seek Out and Play YouTube channel has never given one review of any game. I have never pretended in the least bit to be neutral or unbiased in the presentation of any video or of the Speak Out and Play podcast. And I've been open about that for one reason. Because, put simply, I'm not a reviewer. I'm not running a channel that tries in any way to be unbiased. Now, if I was running a channel that reviewed games, I would need to be unbiased. It would not be ethical, in my view, to create Kickstarter videos or weigh most of my output to just one or two or three companies, at least without stating flatly from the start that I'm biased. So anyone who wants to criticize me about being biased toward DVG, the answer is, duh. That's not a criticism, accusation, or any type of negative comment. It is an accurate statement that I have never run from. I embrace working with DVG and other companies in terms of making videos either for Kickstarter or the occasional preview video, or when I make videos for my own channel. I created Seek Out and Play to be a different type of channel that emphasizes a more commercial approach to its video production. Instead of reviewing games, I would instead explain rules, showcase optional rules, play examples, and the like. That I would base my channel, as I stated before, on the Warfighter series, which offers essentially an unlimited amount of material to make my videos. Just look at the Warfighter system now. It consists of several core sets and a couple hundred expansions. If DVG were to disappear off the face of the earth right now, even before releasing Warfighter Ch'Tor, I would still have more than enough material to create original videos to the end of time or my life, whichever ends first. So, my channel is the Warfighter channel. And since Warfighter is produced by DVG, it's a no-brainer to say that DVG is heavily presented on this channel. If I had chosen another game system by another company, it would be exactly the same thing. I'm sure you could make the claim of bias against other YouTube channels where their creator or creators play a significantly large number of games produced by a single company. So there might be a GMT channel, or a Compass channel, or a Flying Frog production channel for all I know. Even channels that review games may feature more products from one company than the rest. Shifting gears a bit, I've encouraged from the get-go that more people who love our hobby should create blogs, podcasts, and YouTube channels to get their voices heard. And doing so comes with the price of time, money, and effort. But one of the many rewards is having standing within the community. So what do I mean by standing? It means that the weight of what you say increases when you are willing to put in the time, money, and effort to create your own platform to say it. While posting on someone else's account may get you noticed, what you say carries more stature when you create a platform so people can respond. You're not only willing to say it, but you're willing to defend it on your channel, podcast, or blog, not just on someone else's. I've often wondered why I don't see more blogs, podcasts, or YouTube channels in our hobby that embrace a Howard Stern type of approach. In other words, a channel that matches the less than positive opinions I found in many in the comments section of other people's sites, and maybe including my own as well. I think given the plethora of negative comments I see across the hobby on social media sites alone, there would be a prominent shock jock taking on the establishment with their own channel. But I've yet to see it. Oh, I've seen a few comments from time to time, but I've yet to see a dedicated channel, at least in our section of the gaming hobby. Now, if there is one, please tell me, or leave its name in the comments section, and I'll look it up. But if there isn't one, then the question is why? Probably because it's easier to post what you don't like somewhere else. It's harder to build a blog, podcast, or channel around what you don't like. Perhaps it's human nature that we are willing to vent somewhere else, but we want to keep our own house clean. It's much easier to defend a negative comment compared to explaining a channel built on negative comments, which gets us back to standing. The more effort, the greater the standing. And our hobby needs more people willing to stand up with their own channels. And now making another shift in gears, what is happening in Warfighter Corner? Warfighter Vietnam has arrived. I just got my copy right before recording this podcast, so I will be diving in and creating several videos about this new core set to the Warfighter system. The first video will debut next week on the first Wednesday in August. The plan is that the first video will be one about the new features that Warfighter Vietnam brings. It's not going to be a general overview. It's not going to be, let's get started. It's basically going to just cover the new things in the Warfighter Vietnam set that is not present in the other sets. So it's really about those who own Warfighter. You're wondering if this is the game that you can get, and here are some basic additions to it. Now, in the future, there will be follow-up videos that will be like a let's get started, a general overview, provide examples, show some different rules, and so forth. So the follow-up videos will be on Warfighter Wednesday, which, as you all know, is the second Wednesday of each month, alternating with my Warfighter 29 series and other videos about the Warfighter series. Now, there's no doubt that Warfighter Vietnam looks quite promising. Well, I can't say it will expand into the behemoth that Warfighter World War II or even the modern era has become. The potential is considerable. Now, Vietnam was an era in which I was alive, but I wasn't quite old enough to serve. So the memories of the coverage of the conflict are still quite fresh in my mind. I remember every day before I would go to school would be on the news, what was happening, each battle, how many Americans died, what was going on. I remember that. I mean, that's just part of my childhood. So I'm sure that it's going to bring back those memories and also allow me to explore this world from a new viewpoint. Now, how Warfighter Vietnam translates to the world of Warfighter is something that I will be exploring over the series of videos that I will make. It's kind of the same approach that I use for Fortune and Glory. I will be making 4 to 6 videos over the next month, and that will be published over the course of the next several months that cover the different aspects about the core set. So I've already mentioned the first video, and that will be coming up again in the coming attractions later on in this podcast. And the focus is, as I said, on the new terms, really, the new keywords for the set. It's not meant to be a complete list, but, it covers the major additions, and it's a way to get started on it. Future videos, as I said, will cover different examples. I might do a full-blown tutorial in terms of teaching the game to new players. I have not done that for a while, although if you know the basics of the game, then, from previous sets, then you know how to play it. In other words, if you know how to play Warfighter World War II, then you're going to know how to play Vietnam. There's just a few new terms that you need to learn, and that's about it. But for those who are new to the Warfighter series, it has been a while since I've made a new Let's Get Started, so I could just take it from the beginning and do that. Moving on to Warfighter 29, which is my series of videos on creating 29-point teams for Warfighter. They will be published every other month on the second Wednesday, Warfighter Wednesday. I already published one on Germany, and I got a nice response from somebody who published their own team in the comments, so that was really great. The Germany video, went over pretty well, and the guy that posted on there, his team, boy, that opened my eyes. That gave me a new point of view on it. So I look forward to those who submit their own 29-point teams. The videos in this series are generally short. They're going to be about 3 minutes each, and they're going to focus on one nation, either using the expansion packs or the soldiers from the core set. Now, what's great about the series for me is that I get to create 2 or 3 29-point teams for each nation. And my goal is to start a conversation where other people, that means you, can comment and add your own 29-point teams. And so I look forward to how this series progresses over the next several months. And speaking of the next several months, what is in the works for the Seek Out and Play channel outside of Warfighter? Well, let's find out in the Works. With Warfighter Vietnam taking up a good chunk of my time for the channel, there's not much else I am working on in the immediate future. What I can say is that every month I will be creating a series of videos based on a game. That game may be new, it may be old, but it will be about a single game. The videos will range from introductory to rules explanations, overviews, play examples, and more. Now, Warfighter Vietnam is going to be covered in August. In September, the new edition of the Undaunted series is scheduled to be released. Undaunted Callisto will have a sci-fi setting sometime in the near future, or distant future, making it a radical departure for the Undaunted series in general, which has been focused on World War II. So naturally, when I get my hands on it, which is scheduled to be released sometime in mid-September, I will make some videos that will probably take up the rest of the month. Games that I will also be making videos on in the future may include Gunslinger, an out-of-print game by Avalon Hill. I've already made a couple of videos on Gunslinger that have been published, and I will be making a few more. Gunslinger is really a tough game for me to categorize. It's a man-to-man tactical game set in the Old West that has garnered a cult following over the years, thanks in large part to being played online, mostly via email. And I say it's a cult following because it's not a mainstream following, because the mechanics of the game, as interesting and intricate and unique as they are, do take some time to execute. And I think that that's what has prevented it from becoming like a tournament favorite, face-to-face tournament favorite, and a mainstream hit, because it does take some time to get through even a smaller scenario. Other games that I currently own and may be the subject of a video series start with Vijayanagra, a GMT game that I've done one video for, and I need to do more because the video I did was okay, and it covered the solo bot system. I need to do more with that. I mean, it's a fascinating era of history. It's a fascinating game, and it's something that I'd like to dive in on better. I don't know if I've ever seen a game by any company that covers everything thanks to the multiple rule books provided. In other words, if you know nothing about war games or conflict simulations or whatever, however you want to categorize Vijayanagra, it's easy to learn this game because of all the support that's in it. But I do think that there's plenty of rooms to make a series of videos over it, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, another game I'm going to cover is Britannia. Britannia's been around for a long time. There's a new iteration that was released a few years ago that's certainly open to making several more videos on my part. I've made 2 so far, and it also benefits by being a really good-looking map, really good-looking components, so it looks really good when I shoot it. So creating a new set of videos for the game is certainly tempting. Keep in mind that whatever game I create a series of videos on, the videos themselves will be spaced out over the next several months in terms of when they're posted. Now, if you have a game that you want me to focus a series of videos on, then please send me the game. Or contribute by joining my Patreon page for a mere 2 smackers a month. You get to see early releases of every video that appears on the channel, and the money collected will be used in part to purchase games that will be featured on the channel. So hey, it's a win-win. And now let's talk about the videos that are coming up for the month of August 2024 on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. For the first Wednesday in August 2024, Seek Out and Play presents a double bill of episodes, starting with a personal essay on how war games create a story for those who play. The essay is focused on the ability of war games to create new stories, new versions of established events, which promote new ways of looking at historical outcomes. More than just writing a new ending, the games themselves create their own world right from the start. The video covers the different methods used and how games can tell a new story, plus how the ability to tell new stories can excite the imagination and open the possibilities, which brings a fresh approach to history and more. The second video for the first week of August 2024 is the first in a series of videos for Warfighter Vietnam, a new release by DVG. Part of the Warfighter series, this is the first core set for the Cold War era. The video covers the new keywords and features that the Vietnam core set provides. This includes battle fatigue, body count, search number, unengaged and engaged hostiles, and the fade ability. Each new feature shapes the Warfighter Vietnam game to reflect the conflict. The second Wednesday in August 2024 brings a short unboxing video for the Warfighter World War II expansion, Desert Rats. The video showcases the cards found in the expansion, which includes the vehicles, gear, skill, action, service, and event cards. You will get to see all the highlights of the expansion that focuses on this unique unit that served during the North African theater of the war. In addition, the expansion features both frontline and elite hostile units, plus a brief history of the Desert Rats is presented to provide both context and insight behind this unit. The third Wednesday of August 2024 brings a short video describing the optional rules for Gettysburg 88 as presented in the General Volume 29, Issue Number 4. The optional rules themselves are designed to bring a more realistic approach in handling the forces which participated in the most decisive battle of the Civil War. The video presents the optional rules using examples as found in the general article. The goal is to provide a more vibrant approach and realistic results without sacrificing the ease of play, which is behind the popularity of this out-of-print game by Avalon Hill. Check out more videos when you visit the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. Also, there is the Speak Out and Play monthly podcast that you can find on Buzzsprout and Spotify. Plus, Patreon members get access to new videos and podcasts at least 48 hours in advance. A new video is released every week on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel, so I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you for listening. The Speak Out and Play podcast can be found on Buzzsprout and Spotify on the last Monday of each month. For those who wish to support my channel for a mere $2 a month, you can join my Patreon account and listen to the podcast 72 hours in advance. And for those on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel, the podcast is presented in video form on the last Wednesday of each month on the channel and the Monday before the last Wednesday on the Patreon channel. Check out more videos on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel, and I will see you next Wednesday. And if you see Sally, bring her all the way home.